Good morning, everybody, and welcome back to The Walk. Today is Thursday, August 21st, and we are up to chapter 12, verse 18 of the book of Hebrews. And this section has a subtitle that says, A Kingdom That Cannot Be Shaken. Now, there's a lot of really cool stuff in here. I love to talk about the fact that God's kingdom cannot be shaken. So we're going to start off with what the ESV Fire Study Bible had to say about verses 18 through 25. And it says, the awesome circumstances surrounding the giving of God's law at Mount Sinai are contrasted with the features of the gospel, the good news of forgiveness, a renewed relationship with God, and eternal life through faith in Jesus Christ. The Old Covenant law contained many unattainable standards, fearful warnings, and severe penalties. Christ's followers do not have such a threatening covenant. Yet, the consequences of turning away from the gospel are far more dreadful than were the consequences of rejecting the law, because receiving Christ is the only way to true life and a personal relationship with God. There is one way to that relationship with God, and being separated from God puts you in darkness. When you have that relationship with God, you are in the light. Verse 18 says, For you have not come to what may be touched, a blazing fire and darkness and gloom and a tempest, and the sound of a trumpet and a voice whose words made the hearers beg that no further messages be spoken to them. All right, so their faith and trust, the author of Hebrews is telling them, these Christians, that they did not, their gospel did not come out of this blazing fire of darkness, gloom, and tempest. Now, in the Cultural Study Bible, it said this: God warned of his power in these ways when he gave the law on the mountain, burning with fire. That translates the similar wording of Deuteronomy 4:11, 5:23, 9:15. This darkness, the Greek term here, it comes from the Greek translation in Exodus 20:21 and Deuteronomy 4:11. The Greek term for gloom rhymes with the Greek term for darkness and storm. And the same Greek term appears in the Greek text of Deuteronomy 4:11, 5:22. You're going to see all those words are in Deuteronomy 4:11 and in Deuteronomy 5:22. It also said the people wanted Moses to hear God for them, fearing that if God spoke to them directly, they would die. For he came as a consuming fire, but God's purpose was to inspire the fear of God in them, to warn them against sin. Okay, that brings us to verse 19. We already read 19, I'm sorry, verse 20. For they could not endure the order that was given. If even a beast touches the mountain, it shall be stoned. Now, when Moses was on that mountain, they were told that if anybody touches that mountain, bam, they're dead. God was very, what's the word to say? He was very clear in where that line was, and God was very quick to discipline back in those days. Verse 21. Indeed, so terrifying was the sight that Moses said, I tremble with fear. Now, here's the but. These new Christians, this is what applies to them. Verse 22. But you have come to Mount Zion and to the city of the living God, the heavenly Jerusalem, and to innumerable angels in festal gathering, and to the assembly of the firstborn who are enrolled in heaven, and to God, the judge of all, and to the spirits of the righteous made perfect, and to Jesus, the mediator of the new covenant, and to the sprinkled blood that speaks a better word than the blood of Abel. All right, I see a list here, so I want to count this up. You have come to Mount Zion, to the living city, the city of the living God, the heavenly Jerusalem, to innumerable angels in festal gathering, to the assembly of the firstborn who are enrolled in heaven, to God, the judge of all, and to the spirits of the righteous made perfect, and to Jesus, the mediator of a new covenant, and to the sprinkled blood that speaks a better word than the blood of Abel. That's the number 8. Anytime you see the number 8, it points you straight to Jesus. Why do the people have all this? Because of Jesus. Now let's go through this list again. You've come to the city of the living God. You are a part of God's city, the heavenly Jerusalem. There are an uncountable number of angels that are gathering in a party. And the assembly of the firstborn, think about how important that firstborn was, are enrolled in heaven. You're before God and the spirits, and to the spirits of the righteous made perfect. And you've come to Jesus. How did you do it? Because you put your faith in Jesus Christ. Verse 25, see that you do not refuse him who is speaking. For if they did not escape when they refused him who warned them on earth, much less will we escape if we reject him who warns from heaven. Okay, so let's think about this. Moses gave them the warning on earth and they did not escape. If they touched that mountain, bam, they were dead. That's all there is to it. Now we've got this warning coming from heaven. This warning is to not grow weary, to not turn our back on our relationship with Christ, to continue to pursue that sanctification process. How do you do that? You grow your relationship with Christ. You spend time in that word, and you're spending that time in prayer. Have a wonderful day. God bless, and keep walking the walk.